Well, here you are back again. After I patiently explained that your mission is completely hopeless, it still is. Though I'm less inclined to entertain you after you broke into my building for the second time, did you think you could get away with this? There are cameras everywhere. I record everything that goes on day and night. Did you think I'd let you win? Let you save your little neighborhood? Don't you realize who I am? I am Alphonse Perrier du Fonchec. I can trace my ancestry back to the founding fathers. Do you know when we lost control of this city? When that ridiculous tomato incident took place in your pathetic little neighborhood. Tearing it down and putting my name up in its place will be revenge of the sweetest kind. Unfortunately, like your little plan, it's about to go up in smoke.
Welcome back to another episode of Front Row Cinema, a movie podcast for movie lovers by movie lovers. I am your host, TJ Trimboli, and with me, as always, my co-host. We've got the CEO of Future Tech Industries in the house tonight, Mr. James O'Reilly.
Yeah, and I just want to say that whole tomato incident, I still want revenge.
Well, I don't know if I can give you some sweet revenge, but I can give you some airtime to really just, let the world know about your plight.
They threw British tomatoes at us, which are small and hard, so they hurt when they hit you.
Those goddamn British tomatoes. Do people have no respect? And each week we take a look at my 1,000 movies I've seen in theaters, and we see how well it's aged, along with the hype surrounding the film, its box office analysis, and legacy in the film industry. So if you enjoy this kind of content, hit that sub button on YouTube, leave that 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's how you help the channel grow. Jim, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching Hey Arnold the movie. Not to be
That's all
confused
right.
with Hey Arnold the Jungle movie, I think it's called. Different movie.
They got another movie. I only remember this movie. They
Yeah,
got a
and this
jungle
is
movie.
the other one is the one I remembered. I didn't remember anything about this one, but I remembered the plot of the second one. I guess it's the second one. Is they like go to find out what happened to Arnold's parents in some like Central American like jungle.
God. So basically, what you're saying is the Amazing Spider-Man stole Hey Arnold's parents' backstory.
Sure. But although he never once says I created it, so I have to destroy it.
Or I guess maybe a more modern answer would be Madam Web stole the plot.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see Madam Web. I wanted to watch it this past weekend, and my girlfriend said absolutely not.
Well, she saved you 118 brutal minutes, Jimbo. So you should give her a great big kiss next time you see her because she absolutely saved you from just terribleness.
Yeah, but I wanted. That was like the terribleness was the whole reason I wanted to watch it, though. Like,
He needs it. But yes, we've the past few weeks, Jim, we've been watching what people call good movies, Spider-Man, Attack of the Clones. I'm just happy that we could once again return to form in a spot where I'm most comfortable, and that is our Nickelodeon film base.
yeah,
So I'm very
yeah.
happy tonight that we're returning to our roots and diving into 2002's Hey Arnold the movie, written by Craig Bartlett and Steve Vixton and directed by an absolute all-star name, Huck Tucker.
Yeah,
Just
Tucker, who we may cover a bit more later.
fucking, and I hope so, because with a name like that, he needs to come back around again, and we really need a deep dive on a man with as glorious a name as that, and starring voice actors that none of us have ever heard of. But there's a few celebrity cameos sprinkled in there as far as voice work goes. Paul Sorvino, I believe, who's been in any mafia movie you've ever watched, he probably shows up in a scene or two from them. He plays the CEO of Future Tech. Spoiler alert,
Yeah.
it wasn't actually Jimbo. It was Paul Sorvino.
Yeah.
Now, Jim, once again, I know you are always terribly disappointed whenever it comes around, but I do not have a DVD for this one. Once again, I'm stumbling here in my love for Nickelodeon movies that I do not own. So we have
How
to turn.
much could the Hey Arnold DVD cost, do you think?
I
What do you
can't
think? Like two
imagine.
ninety nine, three
Yeah,
ninety nine?
it's got like I imagine I could probably scope it out in a used record store or a thrift store and probably find that bad boy for 99 cents.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
like the
hopefully
price
one day
isn't
I
even the
will.
issue though. Who's selling the Hey Arnold DVD is the good point. Like
That's true. Anybody
only
who
record
has
stores
it,
really come to mind.
anyone who has that movie is not dumb enough to sell it. So it's clear it's a huge collector's item. So it's a tough one to find.
Yeah. So anyway, you don't have the DVD, so you have to read it off of what, IMDb, or is it
Steam
Wikipedia?
steamrolling right past that one. Yes, we're
Wait, what did you
returning.
say? What did you say? What did I miss?
I went so what, yeah, anybody who has the DVD is smart enough to not sell that bad boy.
Oh,
You
yeah.
steamrolled right past it.
I mean, I'm wondering, like, how many copies do you think they printed ever? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
it can't be
uh,
that many, right?
they really wanted to create a zeitgeist moment here, so I think there was only a small collector's run. So it's a very hot commodity on the streets, Jim.
Yeah.
But yes, we have to turn to IMDb to get a sweet little log line from us here, and IMDb keeping it short, sweet, and to the point. And it reads: Arnold and Company must recover a stolen document needed in order to prevent the neighborhood from being bulldozed. Bam.
Yeah, wow. That's like, that might be my highest graded one yet.
Yeah, in to the point, one sentence, rock and roll. Let's
What did he
party.
say? It was like 8 words.
Yeah,
Maybe a little bit more than eight, but
like
it set up the main, like, problem. It set up the stakes. It's like,
did
that's all I
everything.
need to know. And at this
They
point, way to
they
go.
they came up with a great elevator pitch, and when they were like, "It's time to expand. What's the log line?" And they were like, "Fuck it, no, just go with the elevator pitch. That's all you need."
Yeah.
And they were like, "All
That's like
right."
the that's not punny side up guy. That's like the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of he just he's in the paint getting the job done. You know what I mean? He's too much of a pro to do anything else.
That's a reliable Hall of Famer right there. He's just crushing
Yeah.
log lines like you wouldn't believe. Now, Jim, did you see this movie? I'm assuming no, since you said that you only knew about the Jungle movie. But I'm assuming that Hey Arnold, the TV show, was that big on your radar? Were you a Hey Arnold fan growing up?
Yeah, I watched Hey Arnold a bunch, and like I liked. I mean, I'll probably save this for more of the movie, but I do like the whole like New York vibe of it. I was a big fan of, obviously.
Yeah, it
Um,
definitely one of the better Nickelodeon concepts, I feel like too. I like Hey
yeah,
Arnold for whatever reason always just worked in a way that a lot of other Nickelodeon shows fail to.
yeah, for sure. I agree. It was one of my favorite Nick shows. And I don't the only thing I do remember about this movie, which makes me feel like I probably did see it at some point, was
Mhm.
the gag with the grandma breaking out of prison. I remember that.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So it's possible maybe somewhere on maybe Nickelodeon or anything in the passing after this came out, you got yeah, at least
Yeah.
snippets of it, maybe.
Yeah, it might have even been something I saw in theaters. I mean, like I was still probably close to the right age and I had a younger brother and like we used to watch the show all the time at my house. So I might have saw it in theaters, but it's only that small part that sticks out to me still. And even then I thought it was like a much bigger part of the movie. I was like, "Wait, isn't there like a whole thing with her escaping from prison?" And it was maybe what, like 10 like
It's like,
maybe like 45 seconds of the movie was her
yeah.
escaping from jail.
And it's just sprinkled in like different portions, so it's not even like a straight 45 seconds. It's like
Yeah,
5 seconds
right.
here, 5 seconds there.
There's like the they have like the nod to like Shawshank when she like
Yeah.
moves the poster and the big tunnels behind it.
She does have a good payoff though with all that build up though.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that in just a minute. This is another. It's becoming a running theme. Big Rob taking me and Zach to the theater. Hey Arnold obviously is a classic. You know, we just saw Jimmy Neutron a few months ago. Obviously, we're gonna pop in. We're gonna see Hey Arnold too. And it just continues. I think 2002, especially of all the years we've done so far as we've been going along in this podcast, is so funny for seeing like the changing of kind of my movie taste because you're getting a lot of the times we're doing these big huge movies where we're seeing movies that are more in line with my age, but then you also remember like, oh no, but he's still kind of like he's 13, so like yeah, he's also seeing Ice Age and Hey Arnold and Jimmy Neutron. So it's such a weird amalgamation of movies that we've done, and
Yeah.
like if we're just 2002 alone, then it's like man, he's really formulating into like those young teenage years where he's shedding those silly movies, but he's like right on the cusp of losing them but still seeing them, and then he's
I
also
hate to
seeing
break it
crazy
to you, dude,
movies.
but
What?
I am pretty sure we're going to be seeing movies like Hey Arnold and Ice Age well past the age of 13. like
Yes,
like
but
where are you coming up with
but
13 besides that it's the age you are when you saw this movie? Cuz like
but
I
we're
know for a fact we saw way dumber movies than this, way older than 13.
but I think we were more self-aware at that point of what we were going, because like I know we did when we were later on in high school going to see movies like the SpongeBob movie, and sillier stuff like that. But I feel like we were more self-aware of what we were going to watch then. Like back
Yeah,
then, like
we
we,
were
we were
like
going,
in high school when the SpongeBob movie
yeah,
came out, dude.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, I think we were in like ninth grade when that came out, and we went and saw that. But like we were at that point where like I think we were gung ho and we were gonna see anything and everything we could at that point. Like it was the
yeah.
ritual, and less like back then. This was just like, no, Dad, like I got to see the Hey Arnold movie. Whereas I
Yeah,
think
like
by
it
the
was
time it
like
was,
I get what you're saying. It was like more appointment viewing.
yes, exactly, exactly.
And
But
this is
yeah, no,
probably one of the movies where we both were like thinking, "Wait, is this appointment viewing? Like
yeah, yeah,
did I really need to see this? I don't know."
exactly, exactly. That's what I was trying to get at. Now I'm wondering if this is going to break the mold, Jim, on some of these Nickelodeon movies that we've been doing. It's a tale of very ebbs and flows when it comes to the box office of these Nickelodeon movies. So I'm very interested to see where Hey Arnold is going to fall, not only in our box office list, but within the pantheon of the Nickelodeon movies we've done so far. So let's dive into some juicy box office numbers.
Numbers, dates, numbers, numbers, dates, array, dates, numbers. Show me the money.
So, I'm going to hold off for like 1 second before I start throwing a bunch of numbers and dates and numbers at you.
Okay.
Because like it's interesting you brought that up in terms of Nickelodeon movies cuz like this is just to contextualize what we're about to go through. I don't know if this movie was a success or not. I don't know like what they were imagining would happen when they released this movie in theaters. And like I can't for the life of me think it would be anything different than what it is. But like so with all that said, let's like dive into some numbers and dates here, right? So
You've really hyped it up to to a molten
yeah.
level.
So Hey Arnold opens the weekend of June 28th through June 30th of 2002. Small addendum here, going up against the Korea World Cup.
Oh,
I know
dude,
it's
like just didn't stand a chance.
yeah, already bad. Because I'll tell you
Already
what, I
awful.
was way more interested in the Korea World Cup than I was in the Hey Arnold movie at this
That
point in
is
my life.
that is fair. And to put a little more context into before you give me this opening weekend number. So we've done two other Nickelodeon movies right now. So the high to beat is the Rugrats movie that opened to 27.3. And the low to beat is Jimmy Neutron, which opened to 13.8.
Okay, so there is things on the list that I'm looking at that beat those two numbers.
But they're
um,
not Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold is not one of them. No. So Hey
Oh
Arnold is
boy.
gonna open in sixth place.
That is definitely call for a whammy. My
Yeah,
God.
open in sixth place to $5.7 million.
Oh. Oh, all right. So not only is it not good enough to beat Jimmy Neutron's paltry 13.8, 5.7 is good enough to make this the lowest grossing opening weekend that we've done so far, beating Super Troopers 6.2.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, too, this is only on 2,527 screens, which is not that wide of a release. It's like
Yeah, that's on the
probably
lower
about
end.
2/3 of what you usually see for like a normal release from what we've been checking. Like to put it in perspective, in number one this week, Mr. Deeds opening weekend
Ah, classic.
pulls in 37.2 million. It's released on 3231, so 3,231 screens for Mr.
I
Deeds. It's
could
like
not see a comedy movie like that today opening to 37 million.
no, there's like not a chance on planet Earth. And now that I'm looking at this, you know what I definitely saw in theaters? Mr. Deeds.
Yeah,
like 100% I saw that movie in theaters.
I don't know. I can't believe I missed that classic. All right, so we said 5.7 opening weekend. What was, I don't remember if you said it or not. What was the budget for this bad boy?
So that was part of what makes this confusing for if it's a success or not, right? So the
Okay,
budget is only listed at $3 million on Box Office Mojo.
interesting. All right. So maybe not
So
completely horrible.
yeah, and I mean, we'll see where we end up totals wise, and then I think we'll talk a little bit more about it. But so for right now, let's just round out the top five of this week. This is also weekend two of Minority Report, which is holding second with a pretty nice drop with 21.6 million.
Wish I was smart
Second
enough
week
to
of
have seen
Lilo
that.
and Stitch,
Oh, classic.
21.5 million down in third place. Fourth place, third week of Scooby Doo. I'm assuming
Oh,
that's the original live action one, right?
yeah. Can't believe I missed that bad boy in
Yeah.
theaters.
Third week of Scooby Doo with 12.4 million, and then rounding out the top five, the third week of The Bourne Identity with 11.2 million.
Dude, like those are a lot of good movies that I missed. And I
Yeah, I mean,
instead
like,
chose to see Hey Arnold the movie.
Hey Arnold comes in sixth, and it's like no wonder why I don't remember anything about this movie. Like, listen, I know for a fact I saw Mr. Deeds in theaters. I know for a fact I saw Minority Report in theaters. And I definitely saw Scooby Doo in theaters. Like, of course, I don't remember the Hey Arnold movie. There was so much going on at this point in time.
Damn, I can't believe I missed out on so many classics. People watching at home after the Attack of the Clones episode dropped, they're like, "Man, like there's so much good stuff in the wings. Like, you think you saw Minority Report, Born Identity, Scooby Doo?" We're like, "Nope, Hey Arnold the movie, baby."
Yeah, and that's the only one out of those, dude. Again, 2002 me just you don't like register for me. I don't
I know.
understand you as a person.
And I think this is 2002 is when we met, right? We were in seventh grade.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure seventh grade was when we became friends.
Yeah, that could be right. I
Wow. Yeah.
I
Who
I
knows?
don't remember, dude. It was so long ago,
It was
and I
so,
was
but
busy seeing things like Mr. Deeds in theaters.
I was sitting there at homeroom. I was like, "Yo, did you see Hey Arnold this weekend?" You're like, "Dude, don't talk to me."
Yeah, like my God, how embarrassing, dude. Like, did you just say that out loud? Like,
I'm coming in talking about Hey Arnold the movie. You're like, "That guy will never be my friend for for
yeah.
20 something years."
Little did I know you'd be ruining my
Maybe ruining your life for the next like 2 decades.
No, you'd just be ruining my Sunday with this Hey Arnold talk. Um,
Gold, gold.
and then second week of Hey Arnold, it's already out of the top 10. It's in
Ah, what a
14th
shame.
place with just a shade over $2 million.
That sounds about
Um,
right.
interesting, another TV movie comes out this week. The
Really?
Powerpuff Girls movie comes out and opens even lower than the Hey Arnold movie with 3.6 million.
My God, I didn't even realize they got a TV movie in
I
theaters.
didn't either, and I also like that show a lot.
So did I. Yeah, that one was a classic. Man, the 2002, they were really just trying to pump any TV show and get a movie out.
Yeah, only other thing that I think is worth mentioning here. All right, maybe two things.
Oh, all right, here we go.
I'm just gonna do a couple other movies that opened this weekend. Oh, actually, I have a feeling this one's gonna be our next episode coming up.
You're back.
Is it not? Okay, so opening in the second week of Hey Arnold, when it's already down in 14th place, is Men in Black 2 with 52 million.
Did not see that one in theaters.
You didn't see Men in Black 2 in theaters?
The only Men in Black movie I saw in theaters was the third one.
Gosh,
No, I
that's
know.
so
I don't.
crazy.
I don't know what I
What
was. I
were
don't know
you?
what I was thinking. And I liked. And I
You
saw the
saw
first
Hey
one.
Arnold the week before and you skipped Men in Black 2 the next week? What are you
I know.
doing with your life, dude?
And the first one was like one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. So it's weird that we didn't go see the second one in theaters.
Yeah. It was like one of the biggest movies of all time. That was like that was one of the most hyped sequels ever, dude.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
So
Listen,
yeah,
I
sorry, I
only
don't mean
watched
to harp on
Nickelodeon fare, all right?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just a little frustrated with we're spoiling the early 2000s. um no, I'm just playing around though. It's fine.
Yeah, I was worried for a second. You really had me.
Yeah. uh, so yeah, so some totals. Domestic it finishes with 13.7 million.
Boy.
Um, Pretty unsurprisingly, that's 90% of its total gross because I don't know that anybody outside of America or in Canada has ever heard of Hey Arnold, and Canada might even be pushing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, so international, it pulls in 1.5 million for a worldwide total of 15 point. Let's call it point 0.3 million.
Honestly, I'm even shocked it pulled over a million internationally. All right, 15.2 is good enough to make another record here, Jim. That is the lowest worldwide opening we've had here, beating Kung Pao's 16.9. That 13.7 domestic, also an absolute record here in the lowest domestic total that we've seen here, beating the Pokemon movies 85.7. So a stark drop.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, do you remember that episode of South Park when Stan becomes like a hockey coach?
Oh
And he's
yeah,
like coaching like the little league hockey team, and at the end they play like against the Colorado Avalanche. And like, it feels like that's what I'm watching. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're comparing Hey Arnold the movie to like Titanic. Like, of course, it's gonna be
never
like way lower than that tier, and
never
even
stood a
lower
chance.
than like A Knight's Tale or like, I mean, like, it's like they spent $3 million and they just made like a really long episode of Hey Arnold. Like,
Yeah, basically
what
what
were
they
they
did.
really hoping would happen?
Yeah, it's apples to oranges. It's tough to do comparisons when you get movies like this against like the absolute heavy hitters like Spider-Man and all those.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Against Spider-Man. Like,
Yeah, yeah, like Hey Arnold ain't coming out the gate making 100 million in its opening weekend.
no, so it's like, it is interesting that it's on the very bottom of the list and it's such a wide thing, but it's also like, what are these people trying to do with Hey Arnold and the Powerpuff Girls? And are they happy with that number? Like, it made like worldwide, it made 5 times its production budget, which
So
when you
like
put it
I
that way sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
that's yeah,
like
like $4 million or like we said, $3 million budget, 15.3 about worldwide. Like it's kind of a win. Like that's
yeah, I mean,
not
I would think so, but then I'm wondering if these are just like they're like Ichiro up there, they're just trying to like hit singles, like infield singles, or like are they hoping that they like catch fire here with like a movie they spent like not a lot of money on? I don't know. Like, I wish I was in their head for what they
yeah,
thought about this
like trying to
15.5
figure
million,
out
3 million.
Nickel yeah, like what's Nickelodeon's end game here? Like are they trying to explode Hey Arnold into like the pantheon of like big animated contenders? Or were they just
Yeah, and
like,
it's
fuck it, we have this longer episode, like why don't we release it as a movie and see what happens?
right, and like I bet you we'll make like I don't know $10 million. Like, how cheap can we do it for? Like,
Oh, we won. The answer is pretty fucking cheap.
yeah, and it's just interesting that Powerpuff Girls came out like a couple weeks later, because then like those are the Cartoon Network is doing the same thing. Like, what are they thinking by doing the Powerpuff Girls movie?
I think for them, Powerpuff Girls is the only one that I can really think of, right? Because what other cartoons did they have around then that either would even stand a chance theatrically? Like you did, Ed and Eddie ain't getting a TV movie.
No,
Or
no, well, and like
Cow
the
and
important thing
Chicken.
is like not a TV movie, but like a theatrical release.
Yeah, yeah. Powerpuff Girls is the only one I could think of that would lend itself to
Until
it.
the absolute what's the word I'm looking for? Powerhouse Cartoon Network show Teen Titans Go comes out.
Oh yeah, there was a Teen Titans Go to the movies, right?
Yeah, Teen Titans Go to the movies.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember when that came out. That came out with a whimper though. I don't remember that being busy.
No, I don't think it did good, but it was a funny movie. That's the only other Cartoon Network movie I can think of too
You
that
could
was a
think of. Yeah,
theatrical.
yeah, because they never did. They didn't do an Adventure Time one.
Which it feels like if they were gonna do it with anything, it would have been with that.
It would have been that. But I feel like at that point, like then when you got to like the Adventure Time and regular show era, at that point they were just doing their TV movies on Cartoon Network. Because I know regular show had one, but it was just on Cartoon Network. Like they didn't do it theatrically or
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess at that point, like the whole paradigm changed So you weren't getting like these mid 2000s where they were like, fuck it, we got a longer episode, put it in theaters, and let's see how it does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but all
yeah,
right.
so that's Hey Arnold's box office. And I
Well,
think Mark Addy has something to add
it's
to to
been a while since we dusted him off. Bring him out of the woodshed. What's he got to say?
His spirit is gone, but his stench remains.
Thanks, Mark. Can always rely on Mark for a good word.
yeah. So um what did you like and not like about this? I guess let's just dive in here.
It goes along with a lot of the other of these like mediocre movies that we've done, where I don't hate this movie. Like there was plenty like this movie got me to the finish line. So I got to give it its credit there where it was entertaining enough that there was never really a spot where I was sitting there like this is torture. Like it
Yeah.
breezy, it went through. It helps that we already have that familiarity with the Hey Arnold characters from the show. So this one gets a little bit more leeway out of me because I just like that world and I can exist in it as thinly as this plot allows me to.
Yeah.
So it gets a bit of mileage out of it. I think there's a few really good bits in this too that help get me through the finish line. And I think the best part about this movie is one singular joke that really got me, and I laughed way longer than I needed to. And it's when Hey Arnold is going around after everyone has sold and everyone's all upset, and Hey Arnold's walking around. I don't know why I keep calling him Hey Arnold, not just Arnold. Arnold's walking around and he's seeing all the shop owners as they're like lamenting about like their life that they've spent there. And he goes to the butcher shop and the butcher is talking about how like his dad gave it to him and he's all upset about how he won't be able to give it to his son. And he's
Yeah.
building it up that like it's because of like them getting shut down. And Arnold's like, I can't believe that, like just because you had to sell, like you won't be able to pass this on to your son. He goes like, what? No, he's like, my son's a vegetarian. Like of all the
He
things that
hates meat.
happened, like
He hates meat.
he hates meat. Like, dude, that got me out of no, like I wasn't expecting that. And that's why like that bit, it works so well is because it did come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
And
I loved the butcher too. Like, I want the butcher to be the guy in the first 5 minutes of any movie that just tells me what the movie's about. That's what I want. Because, like, in the beginning of that movie, they're like, "What's going on?" And he's like Johnny on the spot with such like he might as well have written the log line you read
eh,
earlier. Like, he's like Future Tech Incorporated is trying to take over the block to build a mega mall. Like,
such a
it's like,
succinct
oh my god! All right, great. I'm
summation.
up to speed. Like,
He's like, we got it. We're off to the races.
yeah,
And
I want that guy in the beginning of every movie. Like somebody just goes, "Hey, what's that about?" And he just lines it up for you.
lines you up with a nice line drive. And that's another thing. This movie doesn't overstay its welcome. It comes in the lean under 80 minutes. Like that's gold right there. They really let this just feel like a longer episode. So it smoothly just flies by. So I have to
Yeah,
give its credit there.
it's interesting too because like I was definitely feeling what you're saying about it just being like a longer episode of Hey Arnold. And then I'm thinking about it though too, like how they like pare it down so much. Like this movie is really mostly about Helga, Arnold, and Gerald. Like that's it. And Hey Arnold, like there's like even in their like very tight knit group of friends, there's like at least six more of them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Did a good job at because a lot of the times you'd see it, especially in like cartoons, when they're gonna create their movie where they have to like feel like they need to expand it and build and do as many of the characters as possible. And it's nice that in this one they were just like, no, fuck that. Like we'll see it. Some of them will just see in the background. They won't even say anything in the whole movie.
yeah,
Like and other ones like they'll get like 1 minute. Like Eugene gets the opening dance number where they all make fun of him, and then he gets one again at the end, and that's the only thing you see of him for the whole movie. And it's just like
yeah,
great,
yeah,
great. Like we
totally.
don't need any more than that.
He fit
Um,
in perfect, yeah. And
yeah,
it
yeah,
clicked for me that Eugene was a theater kid. I don't know that I understood that before I like went to a place that had theater classes. You know what I mean? Like looking back on it, I'm like, oh, he was just like a theater kid. Why did everybody give him such a hard time?
yeah. And that's a good bit too of like the cartoon movie that's got to be a musical. So like he starts building it up like he's like we're gonna be like singing and dancing all over the place.
Yeah.
And they're just like Eugene, absolutely not.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, and it has a
But
good it's funny because it kind of reminds me of a movie that came out a few years ago during COVID right now, Into the Heights. Did you
yeah,
ever hear of this? But yeah, and
I've
like it's
heard
a
of it. It's like based on a musical.
yeah. And this kind of reminded me of it, where it's just like, like a small little subset of the city that has its own culture and its own life almost. And it's almost like passing itself by because of like the modern era that's coming in, and it's their like fight against it to retain the culture and identity of this subset.
Yeah.
And I watched it and I'm like, dude, this is just
Hey
in the
Arnold is
Heights. Like,
about white gentrification, dude. It's
yeah.
like a white neighborhood gets gentrified, and everybody's like, "Hey,
Yeah, they
like,
were like, man, so this is what this feels like. I don't like this
I
one
don't like
bit.
this one bit." Like,
Yeah, that is
but
that is really funny.
yeah, but like, dude, I like so a couple of things I liked about this movie. Like in the beginning, it's like I felt like at points in this I was watching V for Vendetta. Like that's what it felt like with like the big like giant screen in the neighborhood that was like it showed like how many days until like the demolition would start. And then every once in a while Shrek would come on. What was his name?
Yeah,
Shrek?
Shaq, I think.
Shek. Yeah, not Shrek, not the ogre.
Yeah, not the ogre. Fucking
Um
imagine that Shrek is the villain.
yeah. But like
I lived in a swamp.
every once in a while Shek would come on and he'd be like, progress is so important in the world. Like I wasn't sure if I was watching Hey Arnold or like RoboCop at certain points. Like, it's like so like that was interesting to me. I was like kind of into that whole vibe. Um
Well, I
and
mean,
then
it is very much like an anti-corporation movie
oh
made
yeah,
by a
for
giant
sure.
corporation. I always love when they do that.
For sure, yeah.
Let us show you how anti-corporation we are, made by Paramount Pictures, owned by Viacom. Very, very big in corporate.
Owned by Viacom. Dude, remember when like there was like a period like I think it was right around when the writer's strike happened that Viacom like really was like the evil empire in TV. Like they were like a big part of the whole like digital media and like not really paying people for it like well.
It's classic. And then now they'll make another movie about being anti that.
Yeah. That's what Shek would do, dude. He would have played the Hey Arnold movie on that giant jumbotron in the middle of their downtown neighborhood.
Oh my god, absolutely amazing. I loved another thing that I liked. And it's small little victories in movies like this because obviously you're not going to cut yourself very deep. But I liked there was a part, when when Helga comes back and we first see her overhear her dad, and he's basically making a deal with Shaq because he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get rich and get off of this, and
Yeah,
he
he's
gives
gonna get Bob's super
yeah.
beeper
Dude, which
Emporium.
that was so funny too, that he was just like super beepers, like the wave of the future. And it's like even in 2002,
Yeah,
man, like beepers, like what?
we're gonna be so rich. It's like,
Yeah,
dude, that store is gonna be like a
out of
gym in
business. Yeah.
6 months. Like,
Like super beepers 2002, Bob? I don't think so. But he's telling Helga about like the plan and everything, and he tells her like change is good. Change is good. And I love, it's a small thing, but I love with villains where it's like they have their reasoning for doing their thing is something that you can completely understand and is justified, but you can't get by for the means with him. So it's like he's giving her a lesson that is a smart lesson to be had. Change is good. It might be scary, but change is good for the soul. But he's doing
yeah,
it to justify fucking horrendous actions, which is basically just, I'm going to help muscle all these people out of this town. So it's like, yeah, change is good, but you're also still a piece of shit.
yeah. Well, and it's like I don't know. It's like a thing that's still very like I don't know. We're getting very philosophical about the Hey Arnold movie, but it's still a thing that like is a big deal. Like the whole idea of like big businesses like centralizing local economies, you know what I mean? And like rather than like the guy whose dad and his grandpa owned the deli, it's like he now, you're going to like the Starbucks of delis instead. It's so
So
yeah, I mean that's definitely
instead of a
still a
Radio
thing.
Shack, you're gonna go to the Bob Super Beeper Emporium.
Yeah, Bob's Super Beeper Emporium
So I like
instead
that,
of
but
the
then
Radio Shack.
yeah, So I like that, but then like they discount themselves like 5 minutes later when they make Bob be a moron who won't read a contract, and he's just like, "You're not screwing me, right?" And they're like, "Nah, Bob." And he's like,
Yeah.
"All right,
I
Bob,
mean,
Bob, you
we're
fucking
watching a
idiot."
cartoon, and Bob is a cartoon character. Yeah, like he's like very extreme in in one direction, and he's like a real crazy person. I
Also, like,
love the scene
I
when
don't.
he goes and gets into a fight with that guy
Oh
because
yeah,
he finally reads the contract.
yeah, and he just goes like fucking mental. It was like
Yeah, and
Jesus
he gets
Christ,
like pea juice or something spilled on him, so he turns all green like he's
green.
the
Like, yeah,
Incredible Hulk.
yeah,
What did
dude.
they spill on him?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what was in that guy's fridge. But yeah, you mentioned it a little bit before, and you're touching on it now. Like this movie, a lot of references to other movies. You mentioned
Yeah,
Shawshank already. You got that Incredible Hulk tease. There's a Mission Impossible tease in there when Arnold floats in to try and steal the key off of
right,
that
right.
bad guy's neck.
Yeah, the bead of sweat like falls onto the guy like in Mission
Yeah.
Impossible. Yeah.
When Gerald and Arnold are going to decide to sneak into that guy's place, they dress up in black suits and they have like the shot that's kind of like Men in Black.
Yeah, that was supposed to be Men in Black, right? That's what they
Yeah,
were going
yeah,
for.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then
And
they
then what was there? I mean, so first of all, no Star Wars references, no Matrix
yeah,
references, which
wow,
was a
yeah,
bummer.
two layups,
It's like,
dude. When they started doing movie references, I was like, "Here it comes, baby! I'm coming back! I'm coming back!" And then
yeah,
they
I have a
don't do
feeling
Star Wars or Matrix.
I have a feeling that we're gonna have picked those, and then like the score after like 7 years is gonna be like 3-2. Like they're never gonna come up.
We just discredited each other with it. We're like, it's neither of you guys. The answer was actually Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, well, because like even at the like we were saying this in other ones, like Matrix references feel dated in some of the movies we were already starting to watch. So it was like, oh wait, are these dated in this? Like, is in this time frame? I don't know.
It's
But
possible.
yeah. What
And
other ones did you catch though?
so
Was the
so I caught
Spy Girl like an overt reference to anything?
I couldn't really place like what specifically, if that was just a genre trope they were going for, if it was from a specific movie. So I didn't really have one for her. The only other two ones that I saw that were like really noticeable, at the end when they capture, I don't know if it's Shek or the stupid bad guy, but they do the Scooby Doo reference for one of them's like, I
Oh
would have got
yeah, yeah.
away with
No,
it
it was
too if it
Shaq.
wasn't for, yeah. And then the other one is not really a movie reference, but it is a huge like thing in real life, is doing the deep throat Watergate like
Oh
bit,
yeah, right, right.
which is
That's
just
like a
like,
pretty timeless one. And I thought
yeah,
it was so funny they called them Deep Voice.
yeah, deep voice instead of deep throat. Yeah, deep voice. What are you doing? Don't worry about it, Arnold. So those are all the big ones that I picked up in this movie. So it is always funny when you can capture these pop culture references, because you don't even think about it back when you're watching these movies, back then. I don't even think about these
Well, yeah,
references.
and it's weird because stuff like that, like, I feel like it's part of the reason why I know some of these pop culture things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because like you wonder, like when you see these, is like, do I remember, like I probably remember the Shawshank Redemption bit from other movies more than I do from watching the actual movie.
I mean, what I'll say is I definitely saw it first in in other things,
Same.
like
Yeah, that's what I
before
mean. Like,
Shawshank.
yeah, because like I definitely saw Hey Arnold the movie before I saw Shawshank Redemption. Like that's
Yeah,
for sure.
right. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's always funny going back and watching these movies now as adults and seeing these things that you did not recognize from it when you were a kid. Speaking of things that you do not pick up on as a kid watching this,
Mhm.
Helga's mom is an alcoholic, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Like that woman's just like a drunk, right? And is just hammered all the time. Like when she comes home and she's like, "Hi, Miriam," and she's like passed out in the kitchen. It's like 4 in the afternoon. Like
Yeah, and
I'm
that, I
like,
mean, I definitely picked up on that in this movie, and that's another thing that's interesting about Hey Arnold in general is like looking back like on Oscar and Susie's relationship. That's kind of a whole thing.
oh
Like,
yeah. Like like Oscar at best is just emotionally abusive to Susie.
right, right. At best, who knows what's going on when the
Yeah,
cameras aren't on? You know what I'm
yeah. What is
saying?
that? The Susie.
Um, yeah, at best.
At
But come on,
best.
you've definitely met that guy in New York City before, right? Like,
Oh, absolutely. You see many of those guys walking around. Yeah,
and so yeah, so like
Kakashka, you bum.
what there was another good one. Yeah, like the fact that his grandma and grandpa like are allowed to take care of a kid is like kind of a thing. It's like because his grandma's Looney Tunes, you
Yeah,
know?
dude. Honestly, both of them are like Grandpa is kind of with it, but he says some wildly out of pocket things throughout the
Yeah,
entire movie.
right. I mean, dude, in this movie, he sets up like hundreds of pounds of explosives
Explosives, yeah.
in like a tunnel system underneath a street in Manhattan. That guy would get like life in prison, dude.
Right, and like not even letting them like take care of Arnold, but even letting them have a boarding house. Like,
Right. Well, no, the boarding house like fine, but like that they're like the guardians for like a child is definitely concerning. Like he sets off that bomb with all of his boarders, by the way. Like his
like
boarders. Like,
they've got the
one
one
of them's
boarder
keeping
who
hundreds of
literally,
pounds of
yeah,
explosives under his bed, for Christ's
yeah,
sakes.
is hoarding it in
But
his
like
house.
they set off that bomb and he's kind of like, oh man, I thought we did it over there. And then they're basically just like, cheese it. And they all take off.
Just
It's
all haul
like,
ass.
it's like, that's who's raising this kid? Are you sure you don't want to build that mall? Like, it seems like this neighborhood's out of control.
All right, like you might want to get these guys out of here. Like they're all absolutely out of control. These guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like yeah, like but the adults are part of it. Like they're like a part of Hey Arnold's draw. Like they're all so interesting and wacky.
yeah, no, they do a good job of having like a lot of like fun and wacky side characters, and giving them just enough in this movie where it's not like taking away from keeping Arnold center stage, but giving you enough that you get some good moments out of there. Like you get a lot of like those funny bits with Grandpa. You get, that funny, all those like hilarious segments that you talk about with Grandma just trying to break out of prison.
Yeah.
And then she's got that great payoff at the end where she shows up and just basically bulldozes over all of the construction workers.
Yeah. Grandma.
Dude,
Yeah, and she only
what
went to jail for one night in the first place. She stayed in jail because she kept trying to escape rather than
a,
just staying for one night.
so fun. And that's always such like a classic bit too, is like your grandma is like the flower power hippie chick that like bucks the system. So whenever something goes down, like she's immediately the first one throwing Molotov cocktails. Like when they're doing the block party and the police all show up and like immediately without even like warning, they just like ensue a riot. Like they just go
Yeah.
nuts. And grandma immediately is just like, all right, let's throw down.
Yeah. Blockapalooza, dude.
Blockable. Dude, when they're coming up with names and Gerald just calls it block power, like I died. Like,
Yeah.
like the movie's
And
so
then doesn't
silly.
he say later, like, you wouldn't understand, it's a block thing?
Yeah. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like,
so like the adults are great. And like I don't know, like so like I feel like I'm talking way more about this movie like in a good light than I actually felt like when I was watching it. So like some
yeah,
of
so
the
then
stuff that I didn't like and like
okay.
this is another reason why I'm so interested in why Nickelodeon makes these movies because like and when you make a show like Hey Arnold on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, like you're making like 15-minute episodes, which means like, and there's some commercials in there. So like you're talking about like maybe like 10 or 11 minutes of runtime. And like when you're making a show like that, a lot of like stuff can just get explained away. You know what I mean? Like plot stuff, like story stuff
Hmm.
happens fast and you don't really have time to question it. You're just like, oh yeah, cool, right. There's only like 2 minutes left. This has got to happen now.
Yeah.
And like that works when you're making a cartoon show. It doesn't work for me as well when you're making a movie because like I like you know what I mean. It's like it's like a way bigger time investment. So I feel like I need to be like drawn in more, and there needs to be like more layers to it and everything.
For sure.
Which sounds like a lot to ask of Hey Arnold, but that's like a very long-winded way to say like it feels like a Nickelodeon cartoon while I'm watching it and not like a movie. You know what I mean?
Well, it's one of those ones where it's both a pro and a con because we talk about how like it's a pro in the sense that this movie's not overstaying its welcome, but it's a con in the sense that it's paper thin. it just feels like an elongated episode, but doesn't do any of the substantiative stuff where you want a bit more substance in there. And it's not giving
Yeah.
you that. It's just like, no, 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 here's just a longer episode. Like you like 15-minute episodes. So why wouldn't you like a longer one? And it's like, I mean, like, yeah, I would, but like you got to give me something in there.
Yeah, well, and like I mean like it doesn't outstay its welcome because it's only what like 85 minutes.
Not even. I
But
think it clocked at 79.
okay, yeah, so it's really short is the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um it's
I feel like it
75
just,
actually.
yeah, it just
Mine was an
barely,
hour and 15
yeah,
minutes.
like that just barely reaches the requirements of being a movie. That's like if somebody was like, what's the shortest amount of runtime to be considered a movie? And they were like 70 minutes. And they're like, all right, make it 75. And we were in there.
Yeah. But like so yeah, it doesn't outstay its welcome, but like, maybe it'd be more welcome if it like did the dishes or something. Like if it contributed in some way to my time, Like it could be an hour and 40 minutes if it's good, Like
And I think it could have been like, I don't think this is a bad movie. Like it's got the goodwill in there from me, so that if they just took that extra little step to maybe give us a bit more of the potatoes that we like in these movies, I think we would have had something.
yeah. But then it's also like how much of those corners, like story corners that they're cutting, like how much of that plays into the fact that the budget was only $3 million. You know what I mean? Like,
It's true. It's definitely, it seems like a balancing act, and they took their choice to basically just be like, we're just gonna make a longer episode, and
yeah,
then it is what it is. Like we're not looking to break the mold in making anything that's really gonna cut deep at any point. Like
yeah. But so for me though,
you know
that's
what
like
you're
the
there
thing I
for.
didn't like.
No, no, and I feel that. I think
Like,
the biggest
and like
thing,
when they're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" and he's like, "Oh, that girl Bridget's got spy stuff." You know what I mean? It's
yeah, or
like
she
when
just
you're
shows
watching
up.
a Nickelodeon cartoon, I'm like, "Yeah, sure, the girl Bridget in the neighborhood's got spy stuff. Great." Like
Yeah, but
whatever
in a
gets us to the
movie,
next thing, I'm in.
yeah, but
But
in a
like when
movie,
in
you're
a
like,
movie, I'm
what's
like, "Wait,
Bridget's
who's
deal?
that? Like, what do you mean she's got spy stuff?" Like,
Yeah, like she just shows up at the end, and they're like, if only we had a VCR, and she's like, I got one. I just hooks it up to the huge jumbotron.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's a thing that can happen.
Which again, that jumbotron was my favorite part of the movie. Like,
Yeah, it's very, and I love that they just set it up right across the street from Arnold's house.
yeah.
Like it's so
Shaq
good.
just big dick in the whole neighborhood. He like puts up a giant billboard of him giving speeches about how he's gonna knock it all
Oh my
down. Like,
god. I think another thing that we could put in the bad column, it's something that I don't know, I never even thought of as a kid, but it is insane watching it now, and that is everything about Helga.
oh yeah, she's nuts, dude.
Yeah, nuts. It's very much one of
But
those things that like I see now, and I'm like, God damn, man, the '90s were just unhinged when it came to cartoons. Like
yeah,
we
but
did
like
whatever the
it
fuck
sticks
we
around
wanted.
longer than that. Have you ever seen Chowder? You ever watched the show Chowder on Cartoon Network?
No, I have not, but I've
There's like
heard of it.
a whole thing with that too, where he's like the apprentice to a chef, and like one of the competitive chefs, like one of their competitors, also has an apprentice who has like a crush on Chowder, and she's like always like pushing for it. You know what I mean? It's like very
Yeah.
weird. I think it's like just kids stuff, I guess. I don't know.
Oh. I
Like a
mean,
lot of cartoons have stuff like that in it.
yeah, there's these like zany stalker crazed characters that must have just been a staple. Back, what was Chowder in like the mid 2000s, or was that later?
Yeah, it was definitely like
Mid 2000s. All right, so yeah, so but I
yeah,
mean,
like
like we
maybe
were
like
still
2008, 2009, something
okay.
like that.
I feel like the 2000s were still also a wild time, like more than more than I remembered.
All the times are wild.
Oh,
But
it's
no, like I
they're
guess
just
all
different
I'm
wild
saying is
times
though, like it the joke is that she's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, and I was definitely in on the joke when I was a kid.
now. And I guess like seeing it now, like it makes sense that she would be crazy because she has like literally zero parental supervision. Like, because clearly her mom is fucking hammered because she can't stand to be around Big Bob's Super Emporium. Uh, and that dude's an absolute workaholic. And at best, Big Bob is also only emotionally abusive.
Yeah. Dude, the true crime version of Hey Arnold is Helga and Arnold like murder her parents and go on the run like when they're like 17.
So what you're saying is Helga and Arnold are natural born killers.
Yeah, right. It's a lot like that. It's like how I think it would play out.
All right, so what you're saying is I need a remake of Natural Born Killers, but done in animation with Arnold and Helga as the leads.
Oh my god. And like
As
he's got
what
like
is
a
it,
football
Mickey?
shaped head.
Yeah, Mickey and
That's
Mallory, like
like
in their names or whatever.
who directs that movie?
So I could,
The
no
football
idea.
shaped head is like way too specific. I'm trying to think of who would put that in a movie. Maybe Guillermo del Toro.
He likes weird fantasy things. That's spot on right there. Do you have anything else that didn't really work for you about this movie or
No,
liked
I mean
for
it
it?
just I like it was okay. It was better than Rugrats. I'll give
Oh,
it
all
that.
right, so yeah, so that was gonna be my last question of the Nickelodeon movies that we've had to sink our teeth into right now. How did this feel in comparison to those ones?
What were it was Rugrats was another one, and then was there any other ones?
Yeah, so we did the Rugrats movie and we've done Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius.
Oh, this wins by a lot. Like
There we
I'm
go.
sure
Yeah,
we'll go over that later. It may or may not. I don't remember what I gave those other movies, but it's probably gonna beat those. And if you ask me straight up, I would say this beats those two by a lot.
yeah, I was gonna say too. I think I remember. I think I texted you after I watched it too, where I said this one it was definitely the most stomachable of the Nickelodeon movies that we've had to do.
But like, yeah, like stomachable is a good word for it though, because I didn't really like it. I just like it was just like more I could make it through it.
Yeah, it was the easiest one to digest. Still had diarrhea, but I at least digested it. And I think that's all you need to say about Hey Arnold the movie. Jim, I think I'm ready to hear some great career moves by an absolute legend in the name game, my man Tuck Tucker.
All right, so Tuck Tucker. It's just it really
Like you're
is great.
telling, it's like you're telling Tucker to tuck. Talk, Tucker.
Well, like, do you think he was born Tuck Tucker, or do you think people just started calling him Tuck because of his last name, and then he was like, you know what, that's going on my union card.
Like his first name is just like
Like,
John, but everyone just called him Tuck because he was Tucker. And he just was like, you know
yeah,
what?
which
That's
is,
Tuck Tucker. That rings pretty good.
but like, I could see like your friends calling you like Tuck if your last name was Tucker, but like nobody should call you Tuck Tucker.
Tucker. Yeah.
Like that's
That
like
was his natural
that's
progression.
crazy.
Call me Tuck. Tucker. No, Tuck, I will not call you that.
I mean, like, it's like, let's do, what are some other ER names? Like, could you imagine somebody named Porter? He sounds like a TV guy, like a news anchor.
Yeah, like a
I'm
news
Port
anchor.
Porter.
The 6 o'clock news with Port Porter. Good evening. I'm Port Porter.
I'm Port Porter. It's so stupid. So like I hate it, but I also think that I love the guy because who does that? Who's like, you know what? Tuck Tucker.
It's a
That's
bold
what
move.
it is.
Yeah,
It's a bold move. Yeah.
if I was in the
I respect it.
business, if I was in the business and someone walked in and he was like, you know who's making this movie? Me, Tuck Tucker. I'd be like, God damn it, you're right.
I'd have so many business cards to give out. Like, I'd carry at least 50 of them on me at all times, dude. so, so Tuck Tucker did a lot of things besides have a funny name. he, this is an interesting one because I feel like we haven't really known what to do for animation ones before.
I,
And I think when I clicked on this guy, I was like, oh yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Because animation feels like a real, like, you gotta like come up and pay your dues kind of business. You know what I mean? Like, so I have a feeling we're gonna see him on some shows that we're gonna be like, huh, okay. Like I remember that. Like this guy's been working for a long time.
all right, I'm ready.
So I'm gonna skip everything in the 80s because none of this. Oh, okay. He works on The Little Mermaid. He's a breakdown and in between artist. So he's like, you know, he's paying his
The
dues.
the movie, the
Yes,
movie
the
Little
movie,
Mermaid. Okay.
1989, The Little Mermaid.
Wow, all right.
So he's
It's
like on the crew. It doesn't seem like a big credit. It's just like a lower animation department credit, but it's a credit, you know.
no,
It
yeah,
counts.
and that's a huge movie too. So
Um, So that's really the only thing from the 80s that's jumping out at me.
Okay.
He's like a character layout artist for Rugrats in 91, and then he eventually works for Rugrats again in 94 as a storyboard supervisor, I believe.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it again. Yeah, storyboard artist. So he's like, he's working on Rugrats. He's got animation credits here on Two Stupid Dogs. I don't know if you remember that
Oh, yeah.
show.
Yes, I do. Yep. I remember.
Yeah. Which is like, that's so crazy to me. That's such a blast from the past. Two Stupid
Two
Dogs.
stupid dogs.
He's got animation credits on the Ren and Stimpy show, 12
Oh,
episodes.
yeah. There we go. That's the stuff.
Uh, he's got a Hey Arnold thing in 1994, 24 Hours to Live, a short, which
Okay.
was Hey Arnold even airing in 1994?
No, I think that's probably like whatever the short was that let them make Hey Arnold, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, 24 Hours to Live. That's what that is. And you are correct because that is the short that played before one of the other Nickelodeon movies. And it was like
Oh,
Helga kept calling out to him that he like tomorrow's the day you die, or like she kept saying like how many hours to live he had like everywhere, and like the whole idea was she was gonna beat him up at school the next day
oh my
or like in
God.
the street the next day. So yeah, it's not 24 hours to live, it's 24 hours to live.
24 hours to live. She said she was gonna beat him up, but she really wanted to beat him off.
Yeah, whoa, okay.
Oh,
They
all
are
right.
children, sir.
Easy, easy. Take it
um
easy.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
All right. He also gets some credits on. Let's see. I said the Ren and Stimpy show. He gets animation credits on The Simpsons for 15 episodes.
Wow.
But he's still probably like a lower level guy on The Simpsons. It's like background layout artist, character layout artist, animation timer. Like he's doing like grunt work on The
Okay.
Simpsons.
Animation
Like,
timer? Was he just timing the animators? Like,
I
what the
don't
fuck does
know.
that even mean? All
I
right, you have
don't
60
know,
seconds to
dude.
draw a homer. Go.
I mean, it's probably like depending on how you're doing the animation, you need to like time it out because there's like commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Thanks
yeah,
for
so
ruining
he's
the
doing
bit.
like some work on The Simpsons. And then in 1997, oh wait, there's more here. Hold on.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
He's a storyboard artist on Ah Real Monsters,
Oh, there's a classic.
another cartoon classic. Yeah. Duckman, Private Dick slash Family Man. He's a storyboard artist for 5 episodes.
What a
You
fucking
never saw that
title.
show?
No, I think I do remember that show.
Duckman. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
he was like a private eye.
Yeah. Dude,
Um,
the 90s, man.
he's
Unhinged.
got one episode of Sheep in the Big City in 2001, which I don't think I've ever seen.
Deep in
He's a
the big
storyboard artist
city.
on that. But then his big thing, Hey Arnold, comes out in 1997, and he's a sheet timer on that, and he's sorry, I'm bouncing back and forth between different animation things.
You're fine.
He's a storyboard supervisor. He's a storyboard director. So this
All
is
right.
like
So
the first
it's
real
yeah.
credit where it sounds like he's in charge of shit. you know?
You no longer have to carry the stopwatch.
Yeah, and he does a 26 episode run between
Ooh.
1996 and 2002. Um, Later on, he'll work on Family Guy, Camp Lazlo. He does some SpongeBob like video game stuff.
Nice.
He works on. Have you ever seen the show Clarence?
No, but I've heard of it.
Clarence is funny, man. He works. Oh, you know what? He got 97 episodes on SpongeBob
Oh wow.
as a supervising storyboard director and storyboard director, but he's credited from 2006 to 2014. That's the whole show's run, right?
2006? No, didn't that show start in like earlier than that? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Either
I'm
way,
sure
though,
it's,
he works on
but yeah.
97 episodes of SpongeBob.
Either
That's
way,
like
though,
pretty
that's a
prominent.
long run to put in.
Yeah, and then his big like director credits. Hey Arnold, he gets a bunch of stuff. A supervising director. He directs 2 episodes of. I know this is a show near and dear to your heart. Drawn Together.
Oh, But dude, in high school, I loved that show.
Yeah, he directs 2 episodes of Drawn Together, man.
Such a like teenage boy show too. wasn't
It really was. It really was such a crazy show.
it?
And then he also directs in 2013 and 2014 9 episodes of The Fairly Odd Parents,
Nice.
which, as Nickelodeon cartoons go, had its prime as like the peak, in my opinion. Like
I
maybe
went.
not the peak ever, but it was like the top show going for a
It was
while.
yeah, it was top notch for a while there. I see. Yeah, so this guy was just a dependable source at Nickelodeon.
Yeah, well, and it's just like I think there's some Cartoon Network stuff in there too, like the earlier stuff. So it's just like interesting. Like it feels like animation's such a small world, you know. When once you're
Yeah,
like in working on these like shows that are making it to TV, like, and not this guy obviously put in a lot of work and like earned where he got to, but it's just amazing to see how much of the stuff he like actually had a part in, you know.
yeah, you know, he had some decent credits in there. So did
It
some good
feels like
work.
we covered like a pretty wide range of cartoons from the 90s and early 2000s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, and it was definitely responsible for way more than one would have guessed because I would never have assumed he did all that stuff on SpongeBob. Maybe we'll see him again in the liner notes of the SpongeBob movie.
Yeah, and then I mean he hasn't done I can't find anything after 2015. So maybe he's
Oh
just
wow.
like, oh no. Did
Hope
you
Tuck
okay.
I hope
I'm not
Tuck
going to
Tucker's
assume
still
anything,
alive.
but I am wondering why Tuck Tucker stopped. Oh, he died. He died December 22nd, 2020.
What did he really?
Yeah.
Oh shit. What did this say
And
what he died from?
I I don't think it says on IMDb, man. I don't think
I'm
it's
looking at it right. All right, so he died. Yeah, he died December 22nd, 2020 at 59. His cause of death was not publicly disclosed.
that's
Maybe
a
COVID.
bummer.
Maybe COVID.
I don't know. It was not publicly disclosed, so I don't
True.
necessarily want to guess.
Damn. Oh, damn. We're gonna have to oh yeah. All right, so you know what his name actually is?
What?
Billy Bob Tucker.
Oh man,
Honestly, that's
that's
pretty good too.
yeah, like that's a toss up, dude. You gotta
That's
be like
pretty good.
that's even more ballsy to go by Tuck Tucker then, because you were starting from a good place.
Yeah, you had good stuff there. Billy Bob Tucker, baby. He just sells lawnmowers. Billy Bob Tucker, baby. Sell you all the best lawnmower equipment. John Deere, I got it.
Dude, you know what else he directed? It's at least
What?
it says he directed, but I didn't see it in his director credits.
What?
Hold on, this can't be right.
Here we go.
He might have done SpongeBob SquarePants the movie in 2004.
Oh, no
It
way.
just
Let's
says he's a
go.
director known for SpongeBob SquarePants. Oh no, okay. He didn't direct SpongeBob, I don't think.
Okay.
Because it says he's known for The Little Mermaid too. It was weird the way they said it though.
Gotcha.
He's a
All right.
director known for like you'd assume that they're listing things he directed at that
You
point.
would assume he would have directed it at that point. He
Yeah.
probably he probably just like worked on it and then that's what got him working
Right. It's
on the
just like the
show
three most recognizable things like are
that they
SpongeBob, the
yeah,
SpongeBob movie, and Little Mermaid.
it's what they could name. Interesting. Well, Tuck, you joined the pantheon of legends up in the sky. We retired your jersey with an absolute legendary name, and we thank you for your service.
Yeah. It's a cool little diversion on IMDb Deep Dive. It's a fun
Listen,
thing.
we talk about it constantly where we like when we get these more niche people where we get to see a different type of people in the business outside
Yeah.
of our A-list stars. So this was another good
Anyway.
one. Anyway, yeah, this was another good one in there, Jim. But let's continue moving on now. And you know, we briefly hinted at it before, but now we'll really dive into them, and that is our lovely star ratings.
I don't want to play the Ebert drop for this one. How am I gonna do it?
You-
Until I have something that doesn't say this is a great film at the end, I may just skip some weeks, and this will be one of those weeks.
Keeping you down in your grave, my friend. You're not coming out this week to tell us how good this movie was. Just rest up, on my friend, for another week. We'll see you next week.
So I am gonna give this movie. Oh man.
And, all right. So would you like a refresher of what you gave the other Nickelodeon movies so that this could kind of help you
Well,
ferment your opinion, or do you want to go in blind?
I'm not. Can you let me know which movies I've given a 2 before?
Like all the movies you've given a 2 to?
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. So you've given 3 movies a 2.
Okay.
Scary Movie, Shallow Hal, and the Rugrats movie.
Okay. I'm gonna give Hey Arnold a 2. That's what I'm gonna do. Because that's where it belongs, except for with the Rugrats movie, which is better than. But I was giving things. I gave Rugrats way too high of a score.
It's true. Yeah, the Rugrats should not be at a 2.
But
All
like,
right.
I
So
think it's right in there with Shallow Hal and what was the other one you said?
Scary Movie,
Yeah, and Scary Movie. It's like right in that tier, so I'm giving it a 2.
right in that ballpark. All right, that's fair. I can. That's a solid one. I am going to concur with your sentiments there, Jim. I am also going to give Hey Arnold the movie a 2. Um, exact same reasons you said. It's a fun movie, laugh a few points, but at the end of the day, paper thin. But it's definitely Hey Arnold should be taking the spot that the Rugrats movie currently occupies, and the Rugrats movie should be slapped way back down the
Right.
steps.
Right. The Rugrats should be like in Perfect Storm territory.
Yeah, joining the likes of Kung Pao, and other classics down at the bottom of the heap. But all
I
right,
probably
so
should have given Rugrats a 1, is what I'll say.
in hindsight, but we were learning. Listen, when we get to 100 episodes and we get to rearrange, that movie will get its due. So with a 2 from you and a 2 from me, giving us an overall score of 4. So it's going to join other classic movies that sit with a 4, like Shallow Hal and the Rugrats movie. So Jim, I think we obviously know what the first answer is. Are we taking the Rugrats movie or are we taking Hey Arnold?
I'm taking Hey Arnold.
I'm also taking Hey Arnold. Are we taking Shallow Hal or are we taking Hey Arnold?
I'm taking Shallow Hal.
I'm also taking Shallow Hal. So just like we said, Hey Arnold really should just slot in with the Rugrats movie. It's take that spot right there. So Hey Arnold now going to slot in at the number 24 spot, just behind Shallow Hal, just ahead of the Rugrats movie.
Jeez, we've done so many of these.
We've done
24th spot. That's not
24
even last
spot.
place.
I know it's not. We've done, and a Jim, a nice way to segue that. We've now done 29 movies, which
Oh my god,
means
has it been 9 episodes again?
it has been 9 episodes again. So now we are approaching our 30th episode. And anyone who has been following along knows that when we get to our number 10s, our 10, our 20, our 30, and so on and so forth, we like to switch it up here at Front Row Cinema. And instead of doing a movie that I've seen in theaters, we're going to turn it over to a movie that Jim has seen in theaters that I missed, that has come out in the months of the previous 9 episodes that we've done. So that gives you a run from, I believe, our number 21 movie was Black Knight, which came out November of 2001. So from
That
in
sounds right.
between November 2001 to June of 2002 is where your sweet spot is where you get to pick a movie that Jim has seen in theaters that I have missed. Jim, have you made that choice?
I have made that choice, and I've
Oh,
watched the movie already.
have
Uh,
you?
and
Oh
I will
boy.
introduce it by saying, like, it was a crazy movie to see in theater with my parent, with my dad. Like, looking back on it, like, having watched it in 2024, what a movie to see as, like, a 13-year-old boy.
Oh
Um,
man, joins a pantheon of movies that you see way earlier than you probably should have in life.
yeah, probably. But I'm picking a movie that I think might be my favorite movie that we've watched so far. Like, I
Oh
mean, like, there's
boy,
definitely some classics in there that are like too obvious. Um, but I'm gonna
you
pick.
had options. You had a lot of wild options of movies that I've missed. So I'm very excited to hear what finally made the top.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Jennifer Lopez vehicle. Enough,
Oh God.
dude.
See,
It
now
is
I don't
so
feel so
good.
bad about not seeing The Bourne Identity and Minority Report because here you have layups and you're choosing Jennifer Lopez is enough.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you wanted to do those other movies, you should have thought about that 25 years ago.
Yeah, God, if
Because
only
right now,
13
you're in
year old
my
me
world.
re- 13-year-old me really should have been cognizant of the future podcast I was going to do about seeing my movies in theaters. I should have been like, I can't do Hey Arnold. Like, this is going to
Yeah.
be terrible. I got to go see Minority Report for the people.
Yeah, no, but dude, I'm telling you, I watched it, and it's gonna be a very interesting episode. That's all I'll say.
No, no, I'm excited to do. I am excited to do that one because I've only seen that movie once. And it was post COVID. I think it was during COVID that I watched it. Because
Okay, so you've
because
seen it like pretty recently.
yeah, pretty recently. Because me and Heather were doing during COVID, we were doing on and off where each day, we would each pick a movie from our movies that we loved that the other hadn't seen to show them, and one day she picked Enough. And I remember we watched it, and I was like, "This is a fucking wild movie. Like this,
Yeah,
this is crazy." Um,
yeah, I watched it like a couple days ago, and I'm
yeah.
so excited to do this episode.
But enough time has already passed from that one viewing that I've forgotten a lot about it, other than the general plot. So it's gonna be fun to get to watch it again. And I know Heather is excited because yeah, anytime she can bust out Enough, is always gonna be a good day for her. So it's a solid choice. And I like when we do out of pocket choices because the easy answer, of course, is to do Born Identity or Minority Report. But these are huge movies. Like we know they're huge movies. Like I like when we do these. Like obviously a better movie than Hey Arnold, but also ones that are like unique that you don't normally see a lot of people like doing movie reviews on. So enough is a good choice. That's a fun one to dive into.
Yeah, I mean, like more people would probably watch The Born Identity or Minority Report, but
When have we
or,
ever given a shit
or like
about?
listen to. But I don't really care about that. I just what I want to talk about is enough. Like I love
Exactly.
that movie. It's so out there.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a fun one to dive
Like
into.
talk about a movie that it's crazy that it got made. That movie's crazy that it got made.
Yeah, like you really want to talk about like how wild the 90s and 2000s were. Like you can look at movies like that and be like, we were making and putting shit like that in theaters. Like that's insane. And we
Yeah, and with that, I'll save everything else for next time because I've seen it recently, so I don't want to say too much.
he's just itching. But yeah, make sure to join us next week when we dive into Enough. Let us know down in the comments below if you saw Hey Arnold the movie in theaters, if you were a Hey Arnold fanboy back in the day. Let us know all that good stuff down in the comments. Jim, before we leave, as always, do you have any recommendations for the people? What are you watching?
Yeah, I watched another movie this past week
Oh,
besides
we've kind of
the
switched.
Hey
You're
Arnold
watching
movie.
movies now, and I'm watching TV. What happened?
I mean, I'm still watching mostly TV. Don't get me wrong, but
what movie did we see?
I watched. I believe it was a Netflix original movie,
Oh boy.
Damsel with Millie Bobby Brown.
Oh, you watched that? I
Yeah,
remember
it was
seeing the
pretty dope,
thumbnail.
dude.
Oh, it actually was. No, I remember seeing the thumbnail, like the trailer for it, and I was like, Netflix, you're not tricking me again. Like, fuck off.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it was kind of stupid. I'm not sure how believable Millie Bobby Brown was in it, but like, I'm not saying she wasn't believable. Like, it was like a toss up. But like I was good. I enjoyed it. It had enough to get it across the finish line for me.
Interesting. All right. Well, maybe I'll have to go back and give it a shot because my.
Starring Robin Wright, by the way.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
remember
she's one
she's
of the
like
like big
the.
one of the big people in it.
Yes, I do remember that she was
She's like
also
the queen, like
thumbnail.
the
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to
like
give too
the.
much away, but she plays like a big part.
Yeah, well, isn't she? She's the one who like throws her down into like the pit or whatever.
Yeah, she's like in charge of the people who toss her and sacrifice her to the dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll give it a shot because my saying, if you say it's watchable and it when worth checking out, then I know I can take that to the bank. It's funny how we've switched. You're watching some movies right now, and I'm actually watching some TV. I took a break from 24, and what I'm watching right now is the first season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh boy.
I had another show that I missed. Never watched it before.
I watched that show when it aired, and I am interested to see what you think of it because I'm not sure if it would hold up.
It is insanely fucking silly.
Yeah,
It's
I
it's
used to,
so goddamn silly. Like I enjoy it. I do enjoy it because I love like the 90s cheese of it, but
yeah.
it's like it's so goddamn silly.
I loved that show when it first aired. Like the first like 4 or 5 seasons of it, I think I watched. I don't even know how many seasons it ended up with.
I think it's got a lot. So I don't know how deep into it I'll make it. But
Are
so
you
far,
counting just Buffy the Vampire Slayer episodes, or are you counting the David Boreanaz spin-off Angel?
I'm not making it to Angel. Get out of here.
Have you had any episodes with Spike yet?
No, I think they
Oh.
said he doesn't come in until like season 2.
Yeah, that sounds right. Spike sounds like a season 2 character. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, the one I just passed was just learning about Angel and the fact that he was also a vampire. Um but that was literally the last episode that I watched. And what's funny is I like more the episodes that have nothing to do with the big vampire ones. Like I like the filler episodes more where it's just nonsense. Um
Yeah.
like there was an episode where um they're like their dweeby friend, the guy, falls in love for a teacher that turns out to be a praying mantis.
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
episode.
And I watched that episode and I was like, I think that might be my favorite episode of television I've ever watched. Like,
Yeah. It's like it's touted as like an all-time great show, dude. And it's like maybe the most late 90s early 2000s television show ever made.
yeah, it's so silly. So that's what I've been doing is going back and catching up on a lot of those like big huge shows from the 90s and 2000s that I missed that are considered like all-time classics.
That's funny. I might have to go back and watch Buffy.
It's really good. Heather's been pushing for me to watch it, so I finally gave in, and
Yeah,
I'm really
that's such
enjoying
a
it.
Heather show though. That's like I would have if you had asked me, I would have guessed that she was a big fan.
Oh yeah, she loves it, and I'm in on it now too. Like I'm very ready for it. So it's that's what I'm driving on right now. So that's a lot of fun to dive into and watch. So that's what I'm doing.
Who's the Allison Hannigan is in that show too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, she's Willow. The like dude, it's so funny how like every show like she's got like her Scooby Doo gang, but like you need the computer nerd. So Allison Hannigan, even though she's only like 15, 16 in the show, is just like this insane like tech hacker whiz.
Right. She's like, yeah, she's like a professional hacker.
And even though like computers are like barely 10 years old, like we barely have like the internet like around this time, and she's
And
just
then
like, yeah, I'm hacking into the databases. It's like, what do you mean?
isn't there somebody called Xander on that show
Yeah,
too that's in their group?
that's the dweeb. That's the kid who fell for the praying mantis. That's what his name was Xander. Dude, that guy is such a dweeb, bro. I bet there was another episode where he got possessed by a hyena.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this fucking
Who
show,
plays
man.
Xander? Is it anybody or it's just
Not
like nobody?
I've never fucking heard of him before. I've seen him in anything since then. So I think this might have been like his only calling was Buffy.
So funny. I can like picture his face. It's like it's weird
Oh
how
yeah,
that
dude,
works.
he's such a clown. But yeah, I love those filler ones. It's like, yeah, totally. He got possessed by a hyena. Like, let's go. Sure. Let's ride.
Yeah.
Or they're
Yeah,
like,
and it's
oh
that's like Josh Whedon does that show, right? Isn't that
yeah,
his bag?
yeah, yeah. But maybe we don't talk about that
Yeah, yeah, we definitely don't want to get into that. We don't want
guy.
to wade into those waters.
Yeah, we'll save him for the Avengers episode in
You
like
might get the
six
Snyder
years.
homies after you. The Snyder
Oh
Bros.
yeah. Oh, we don't want any of those guys.
The
Like
Sny-
I could deal with the chuds in the comments. I don't want those dudes hanging around.
Dude, the Snyder Bros are a different breed, man.
Dude, they'll
I don't
call.
want to mess with those guys.
They'll start posting my address, man. I don't I'm not messing with
Yeah.
those guys.
They'll make a 4-hour director's cut out of your life.
Yeah, right. He'll make a 6 hour dissertation on YouTube about a 45-minute episode. Well, just can't
Dude,
handle that.
that it's so weird. Like I don't know what magic Zack Snyder tapped into, whether it's like Twitter bots or just like teenage angst or what. But like there's
They're Messiah.
legitimately people I see in internet spaces being like, "Oh no, you just gotta wait for the director's cut of Rebel Moon to come out. That's when it'll really be good." And I'm like,
But,
"You're watching any of these movies? Like, there's like
that's when this
how is
thing
there
will
gonna be a
really
director's cut of Rebel Moon? Like, what is happening?"
when this director's cut hits 188 minutes, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Yeah, like he's got like a group of dudes out there who are waiting for a 6-hour Rebel Moon like two-parter that they will think is the best movie ever. Like,
He's dude. He somehow just taps into some of these guys, man. He's their
yeah,
guy. It's
and he
Colt
did
is
that by making like Batman versus Superman. How
Superman.
did he do
Dawn
it,
of,
dude?
Dawn of Justice.
How did he do it? His Superman movie sucks so hard. Like,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how he did it, man. He's an icon. which I'm contractually obligated to say is an icon, so that we don't get the those guys in the comments.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I actually already have one of them's got a gun to my head right now, Jim.
Oh jeez, I'm sorry.
God,
You know what
yeah.
I really liked? That Snyder cut of Justice League. That was a movie.
There is a movie. Yeah. You know what I really am clamoring for? A 4-hour cut.
Yeah, it was that 45 minutes, that extra 45 minutes that really tied the whole thing together, you
It
know?
really put a nice little bow on it. Really,
It just
really made it pop.
it needed every second of that runtime.
It really earns it, Jim. All right. Listen.
Yeah,
Zack
that's the
Snyder.
movie that made Ezra Miller a movie star.
Yeah. That son of a bitch. And we will catch you next week when we dive into Jennifer Lopez's Enough, an absolutely seminal classic. And as always, until next time, we'll see you at the movies.